taken from the film Zid here on Drivetime. That track, Haath Rakh Pe Dil Pe Zara. 4:39, yours truly, Raj Baddhan here on Drivetime. It's time for my Star Drive today, and yeah, excited to have this man coming here on my show, making his debut, in fact, because his show is doing well here in the UK. I'm talking about the lead actor of an TV show Chupke Chupke, Mohit Malhotra, who joins me here. Mohit, welcome to the show, and swagatham to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Raj. Thank you for talking to me.
Yeah, it's, you know what, I had a few requests to get you on the show, and I thought, let's do that today, because I know the show is doing well on ANTV here in the UK. So, yeah, well done on that. And tell us a bit about, Chupke Chupke.
Thank you so much. It's lovely to hear that people are loving the show over there. I didn't imagine that it will do so well in the UK. I heard it top the charts in the other places there. This show it's a very new concept. It's a fresh concept that came on TV. It's about contract marriage. It's about contract marriage is basically the backdrop of the show, but the story is about these two lead characters, which one is Abhi, which is played by me, and the other is Neil, played by Prithvi. So, how these people don't want to get married, but they have this pressure for family because they love their family so much, they can't even let go of their family decisions. So they end up coming to terms wherein they decide to do something where they get married by a contract and they can still pursue what they wanted to do, what they had always decided to. And a lot of comic situations come out of that contract that they get into. And I'm sure people are loving watching the situation that they get into and how they overcome those situations.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
Yeah, no, Mohit, I mean, the way you're describing it is definitely like a fun idea, but it is also something that a lot of couples are doing these days. I mean, it's called marriage of convenience, getting married for particular reasons, which they want to keep away from the family or other people that surround them. The show takes a more kind of light humor kind of touch to it. When you signed up for the show, did you want to do something like this? Was it this type of role that you want to take on as your next project? Because you have done so many other kind of dramas before, and it is definitely a lecture to the other kind of shows you've done, haven't you?
Right, absolutely. See, when I heard this bit of the show, I was really impressed because nothing like this had already been done on television yet. And I thought, and there was a light humor to the whole narrative. So, and I thought it's going to connect with the audience because a lot of people are doing it. Not as much in India, but I'm sure abroad. And I also think how in India, in every relationship, you have certain sort of unsaid contracts. And sometimes you have to adjust according to other partners, sometimes you have to adjust according to you. So it's an unsaid conditions that you put across. But in contract, it's something that you put across paper. There's nothing, different in that. So it was something that was already happening in society, and now we decided to showcase it on television, like humor with it. So I think it from the very start, it was a hit concept.
Indeed. No, it is a very novel idea. The response has been good as well. There's actually some questions that I've been getting from the fans. There's one in particular to do with the TRPs of the show. How much does TRPs matter to you as an actor? Obviously you're playing a part in the show, but the show also depends on your performance and how the storyline is going. So as an actor, I mean, how much are you influenced by the ratings in India?
Honestly, as an actor, my job is to do the part well and connect with the audience as much as I can. So ratings is not in my hands. It's a thing that's rated by another agency. Channel looks into it. Channel has a team working on it. So it's something which is not controlled by me, and it's not even in my control, no matter how hard I work. So I don't really take it very seriously. As long as I'm doing the job well and I'm enjoying the work that I do, it does not really matter. And eventually, I've come to think of it as this way. As long as you're enjoying the work, I think it automatically turns into when the rating comes. So I don't think too much about it.
Okay. No, I mean, it's good. I mean, and as you said, you're enjoying the show, and we can see that you're enjoying the show. In fact, there's a question here from Kiran who wants to know, what's the one nice thing about your co-star Meera, Prithvi, that you can say about her? I mean, how has it been working with her?
The one thing about her is she is she's very observant. So she catches on accents very easily. And it's always fun on shooting with her. he'll catch on somebody's accent here and there, and then we'll crack jokes while shooting. So it creates a very good environment while shooting, and it reflects on the screen as well. So it's fun that way.
Okay. And of course, you're playing the role of Abhishek on the show, but what about you
Right.
as an actor? Do you believe in the type of marriage, in these kind of marriage of conveniences in real life?
Like I said, it does not really matter what kind of marriage you get into as long as you're happy in it. It's just a name, it's just a tag given by the society. So whether it's a love marriage or a relationship, as long as you're happy in that situation and you can label it as much as however you like it, and it's good.
Okay.
So it does not really matter. The main part is you need to be happy with the person that you are with.
Areva. And there's also your fan club who's been asking questions as well. There's one here to do with the show. Is it a finite series? Because aajkal to zamana chal raha hai about finite series and running a
Correct.
shorter series. So is this a finite series? Can you confirm that?
Yes, it's a finite series. It's a series for 260 episodes. It's going to go on for a year. And that was one of the reasons I took up this series, because I knew the script was already there. It was a bound script. The narrative was not going to change like it does in other television shows. And they're not finite series. So it was more like a film divided into different episodes. So that kind of worked well for me.
And what about future storylines? I mean, what can we expect? What's going to be happening? I mean, kind of entice us for the viewers as to kya ho raha hai chupke chupke mein.
Yeah, a lot of things will come up because a lot of twists and turns will come up. We'll get stuck in different situations to get out of that situation. There'll be comedy in that. Because, eventually we get married, and then we're not even, the parents still don't know about it, and they feel that there's something wrong. We don't see them as a typical married couple. So we try to pretend like a typical married couple. Then we try to enact certain situations in that, and then we get stuck into that, and how we come out of it. So a lot of humor comes in those situations. So that'd be a lovely thing, lovely thing to watch in the coming time.
Okay. There's also a question here from your fan, Siddhi, who's asking, I'm going to say, Vihan was the best character you played, and I think it was your finest performance. Do you miss the show, and do you miss playing him?
I believe every character that I play is fine at that time. But yes, Vihan was one character that was very close to me. And people gave a lot of love to that character as well. But everything that people love comes to an end after a while, and I have to move on to a different character. And I hope the character that I'm playing right now, people will fall in love with that as well, eventually in the coming future.
By the way, just in case anyone doesn't know, Vihan was the character you played in Kya Hua Tera Vada, just in case people are thinking, hey, kaun sa show tha? There's also a question here to do, seeing as this is a finite series, obviously you're focusing on the show, on Chupke Chupke, but have you thought about what you're going to be doing next in terms of other projects? Have you been lured into other kind of projects, maybe working on the side, or are you just going to be completely devoting your time to Chupke?
Right now, I'm going to completely devote my time because I'm with the network. I can't do much more than that because as a lead, you have to be signed up with them for that. But yes, definitely, I'm sure now that it is doing very well in UK and it's doing very well in India as well. So a lot of offers will come through. Nothing has come yet so far. But yes, hopefully in the future, definitely after the show ends.
Okay. Ammirta is asking, Amimurta is asking, what's according to you the best quality of your character Abhishek? I mean, what do you think is the best thing about Abhishek?
The best thing about him is how he has his smart one-liner comebacks in the show, and how he, at the same time, he lives in a joint family, which is a very great shade to play because, in India now we don't have a lot of people living joint families. So you have different relations with different parts, every member of the family at the same time. So it's fun that way, when you see the shades of him playing different parts within the family.
And another question here about the kind of acting you prefer. Do you prefer the more kind of spontaneous acting or the more method acting?
For me, it's more spontaneous because I think that's where you create magic. Method is too much rehearsed.
So there you go. And there's also a few other kind of quirkier questions. So there's one in particular here from your fan club asking, how different would you say Abhishek is to yourself?
First of all, he lives in a joint family. He grew up in a joint family. That's very different to me because I grew up in a nuclear family. And it was hard for me to understand how this same character could be different to his daddy or his mother or his chachi or his niece. Because in the same family, you're living in the same house, you have to play different parts at the same time with different shades. because your relationship with every member is different. So that was something different that I had not experienced in my life. Plus, I think the similar part is the one-liner comeback. So I try to come up with those one-liner comebacks also. So I think that's a similar part, and different part was to play that part that you're growing up in a joint family and figuring out the relations with every member.
Mm-hmm. And who would you say is the kind of mischievous one on the sets? I mean, which actor would you say? I mean, I think it would be yourself, but do you get too musty on the show?
Yes, a lot of musty. I think we do a lot of musty on the sets. That's why it's so much fun shooting this particular show, and it reflects on the screen also. But I think all of whenever we have these family scenes together, we always cracking up, and somebody or the other is playing a prank or the other. I think my chachu does play a lot of pranks on everybody. I think so. I'd say he's one of the mischievous ones after me.
Fab. And there's also a question about your brother Himanshu. Kiran wants to know, how is your bonding with your brother?
Oh, it's very good. I mean, we were living together until a couple of months ago. Before he got married. He's very close. He's been into this industry for the longest time, and I think he's one of the inspirational, motivational factor for me to get into this. And we really bond and everything, and we're very, very, very close to each other.
Wow. And you know what, Mohit, I was looking at your profile. You've done so much work. I mean, you've done a lot of work. I mean, for so many years on Indian television. You know, we applaud you here for being so successful in the field, and with the show like Chupke Chupke, doing something different as well. So I just want to say congratulations. It has been so good to talk to you, and keep in touch as well with us, just so that we know what you're doing. Have you got a final message for all your fans out there? कितने सारे आपके जो fans हैं worldwide सुन रहे हैं?
Absolutely. I would tell them to please keep watching this show, Chupke Chupke, and I'm sure once they start watching it, they'll connect to the show, and the show is doing very, very well in the UK already. And please spread your love, keep loving me, and keep showering your love, and I'll keep loving you back with my performances and my acts.
Oh, awesome. Mohit Malhotra, thank you so much for your time. The lead star of Chupke Chupke, which is on Ant TV, that's going to be on tonight at 9:30. You can catch that every night, 9:30. And I think it's 6:30 in India, isn't it?
Yes, it's 6:30 in India.
6:30 in India, 9:30 in the UK. You can watch that. So, yeah, that's Mohit Malhotra, who plays Abhishek on the show. Mohit, thank you so much, and all the best, and I'll speak to you soon.
Thank you so much, Raj.
All right, take care. Thank you very much. There you go, the brilliant Mohit there, catching up here about his show, Chupke Chupke, which is running on Ant TV. Right, on the way for you next, we're back to some more hits on your Thursday afternoon.